Hi everyone, this is Chanelle back here at NutriFundi, having a discussion today with someone very, very special called Henning Gericke. So I met Henning exactly actually 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks before the national lockdown started. And then we shared a screen at a stage at my old high school. And I spoke about my Comrades experiences as well as some nutritional stuff for the school sport teams that evening. And then Henning spoke to all the sport teams about how to make 2020 the year for the champions. So little did we know that evening that 3 weeks later, there would be no school sports and that a few weeks later, Comrades would unfortunately be cancelled. So the week after I met Henning, I ran a marathon, and 2 weekends thereafter, I ran an ultra marathon. And the whole time while I was running the 50K race at Omidam, I was thinking of stuff that Henning has taught me that evening that I met him at my old high school, even though he was actually not there to speak to me, but to the school kids. So he just made a very big impression on me, and then we became Facebook friends, and here we are today. So like they say, the rest is history, and now we are in lockdown level 4 at the moment. Luckily, we have moved down from the level 5 to level 4. And like I said, unfortunately, Comrades has been cancelled. So like we know, it's not only Comrades, but a lot of other stuff that has happened to us during this lockdown. Other sports teams and other big sports people, all of them have experienced the same. And I think that is a difficult situation at the moment. So what I have here today, firstly, is I took some photos off of Henning's Facebook page for us. So firstly, I had to include the big photo of me and Henning. That was the night that I met him. And I immediately grabbed him and I said, come, we have to go and take a selfie. And I think he thought, wow, this is like the weirdest dietitian that he's ever met. But that is our first selfie that we took. And then I went onto his Facebook page and I stalked him a little bit and I found some other photos of him. And then I'm going to read his very impressive CV to you now as well. So Henning qualified for the Olympic Games in the 1980s. However, he was unable to compete due to the international isolation of South Africa. In the early 1980s, he broke the 4-minute mile on 10 occasions, which is, for a runner, very impressive. Henning is a qualified clinical psychologist. He was the psychologist for the Springbok rugby team in 2007. And like we all know, that year they were one of the years that they were the World Cup champions. Then Jake White was the first Springbok coach to employ a full-time sports psychologist for the Springboks, and this was Dr. Henning Gericke. And then also what I thought was quite nice is the nickname that the Springboks gave him, and they called him the Kop Doctor. So Henning also worked with the Protea cricket team and Olympic swimming team. He worked with Cameron van der Berg, which is, like we know, a gold medalist. He has written 6 books, and he loves inspiring people to reach their full potential. So something I saw on his Facebook the last few days was that this is his latest book, and this was on his Facebook status. It says, "I've always wanted to write a book for parents, and it has been a great experience. And I'm grateful to say I have done it. I believe this book will make a difference." So I definitely think this is going to be a great book, and I think everyone that's listening can definitely try and get this book. Okay, so then I asked Henning to come and chat to us today with regards to not only sports, but also anything and everything else in our lives. So we all have goals, we all have things that we want to accomplish, and then something happens and we can't do it. So firstly, I wanted to say that I watched a lot of your videos on Facebook, your inspiring videos. A few of them I actually watched twice because I wanted to make notes. So my first question is, how was your lockdown? Did you enjoy it? Did you find it irritating? How was your lockdown? Sorry, Henning, you're just still on mute.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay,
sorry.
so great. It's so great chatting to you, and It brings some memories back to me just before the lockdown, and specifically your passion. It's so great sharing today with you. I haven't got all the answers, but I'm passionate about life, and I'm passionate about growing and learning. And yes, you asked me about lockdown. I think it was tough for everyone, to be totally honest with you, Chanelle. And I think a lot of people find themselves in situations they need to totally refresh. They need to redefine themselves. And I had the same challenge. I had 2, 3, 4 motivational talks every week, and suddenly that was gone. So you can imagine that was gone, and I need to decide, do I go back to my private practice? I'm a clinical psychologist, but I haven't done private practice in years. But I just decided I'm going to challenge myself. And that's just part of my makeup. I like to give myself challenges, and that's what life is all about. I've got a quote that I love actually just using. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the response. So it was me a massive challenge. To be honest with you, Chanelle, I didn't even have my own computer, and you will think it can't be. I promise you, I got a computer from my daughter, my PC, because I don't need it. When I've got a motivational talk, I've got just a little stick, and I give it to wherever I get to, and that's my presentation, and I can do it. And sitting, talking to you on Zoom today, talking to people on Teams every day now, it became a new challenge for me, and I'm so excited, and I really mean it when I say it, that I've got such a lot of challenges at the moment. I'm going to put my new book, and thanks for promoting me. I appreciate that. But I'm going to put my new book, and I'm going to do online courses on that. So what I'm actually saying, Chanelle, it was tough for me. It's still tough for me. But I've got new challenges. And I think that's what life is about. Life is about changing. You can't become a victim of change. You need to be a creator of change. So this is my challenge at the moment. I'm learning. I'm growing every day. Yes, it's been tough, but it's actually exciting as well, if it makes sense, Chanelle.
Yes, definitely. I actually read a quote the other day also on Facebook, and it said that we shouldn't be thinking, how do I get out of this situation? We should rather be thinking, what can I get out of this situation? And I think that's exactly what you said now. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't so nice. And I mean, we all know about that. It's on Facebook. But I think just maybe thinking about some of the good stuff that we did get out of this. Like, for instance, this YouTube channel. I didn't have a YouTube channel before lockdown, and I decided now is my time. And here we are, like you said, here we are today on Zoom. So like I said earlier, like me for myself, I was training for Comrades. It should have been my 6th one. I had a goal in mind. I had a countdown on my phone. I knew where I was supposed to go. I have a running coach, all of that. And then one day you get a message, okay, now it's lockdown, Comrades has been postponed, and then eventually it was cancelled. How do we as runners and as sports people, like I'm talking about the CrossFit people, they have also had a lot of events that has been cancelled. We are having the Olympics, all of those big events that's been cancelled. How do we stay positive if our goal is just being taken away from us?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because you've been training hard, you're excited about it, and suddenly it's been taken away. But Chanelle, that's life a lot. A lot of times in my life, the best things I actually achieved, or the challenge I achieved in my life, was after disappointments. I had a lot of disappointments in my life in terms of just not achieving always what I wanted. Roger Bannister wanted to run the mile under 4 minutes. And actually this year it was 60 years back. In May 1960, what was it then? 1954. That's right, 60 years back. And he couldn't do it. He was doing run the mile under 4 minutes. And everybody said it's impossible. Then he went away. For 3 weeks, he went into the mountains. Not a lot of people know about it. He went into the mountain just by himself, redefine himself, just relax, just getting new challenges. And he went back and he ran the mile the first time under 4 minutes. And I believe the body needs to rest as well. And the body needs to recover as well. I was a runner, and that's years back. So I can't describe myself as a runner. In my heart, I'm still a runner, but I think a lot of times we overtrain, and that was me actually, over racing. And I know it's frustrated. And I know you had those challenges, but you look back at this time, and it's a time to do good base work again. It's a time to develop mentally, spiritually, physically, because now it's really, you've got the time to do things a little bit different. But it's still not you had that goal, running your Comrades this year or finishing your 2 Oceans this year. I understand it. But champions can always look at the situation and deal with it and set new challenges. That's what I got. Because if you keep on focus on things you can't control, because it's things you can't control. So the quicker you can move on and say, this is a reality, acknowledge the reality. Reality is I'm not going to have Comrades now, but how can I set new goals? How can I challenge myself? How can I do things in a different way that I start enjoying it maybe more? So when I get back, and you will run Comrades again, there's no doubt about it. We'll go into racing again. And you'll be better, you'll be stronger because you'll think differently about yourself. Maybe it's a time to develop yourself mentally a little bit, to think about your races, what happened to you. Maybe it's a time to make your sessions more fun again and be less goal-orientated, because I think if you're a serious runner, and that's all runners want to run well, and they want to finish a Comrades and just finish a Comrades. I've got such a lot of respect for people. But I think we overanalyze a lot of times. And I think now is the time to have your sessions that you can bring a little bit fun, and you need to be creative. If you want to do a long run, you're not going to be able to do that long run and you combine it maybe in 2 days' time, or whatever you can do. So yes, it is challenging, but you will look back at this time, and at the end of the day, you're going to be a better runner. I can promise you that, because you've got a mindset that you grow, you learn, and you want to get better. And if that's your mindset, if you've got a fixed mindset, you say, that's the end of the world, it's not going to happen, I could have run my best time. But if you've got a growing mindset, if you've got a mindset that you see challenges as opportunities and not as obstacles, because that's what life giving us a lot of times. Yeah, but it doesn't make it less easy. I think, Chanelle, what people miss a lot of times is the camaraderie of runners, being with your friends, having that race, and it's not just running that time. And I haven't done a Comrades in my life, and I still want to do it. I think next year is it a special year next year? Is that right, next year?
Yes, it's the 100th one next year.
So maybe I'll get a program for you, and you help me with the running, and I'll help you with the mental stuff.
Anyway, that sounds like a brilliant plan to me.
So yes, the challenge next year is just going to be, I feel, for people that qualified for Olympic Games, and it's only okay, they say next year maybe the Olympic Games, but I don't know what's going to happen there. So at least Comrades is every year, and you've got your races you've got a lot of races, but there's some races like Olympic Games once in 4 years. So that is tougher. But yes, it's not an easy question you asked me, but I think this is a challenge all of us got.
And I think like something that you mentioned now, well, actually two things, is to bring the fun back into it. Like not all of us are Gardenstein. Like, I mean, I run because it's fun. So, but like when you want to run better, it does become maybe less fun. And I remember exactly where I was running on the road when I thought of, I'm going to ask you for this interview today, because I was chatting to my husband. I'm actually now able to run with him, not having to get up at 4 to run. Well, we can't, but yeah. So it's actually nice to just run because we like to run. That's the one thing. And then also I can definitely say I miss my running friends. I think runners, we are not those people that go out and have coffee and cake and whatever every weekend with our friends, because we see them on the road and we chat, and it's like our morning chats with our friends, and that's definitely something I miss. And I think that's something in a lot of sports, even the CrossFit. Like I started CrossFit with my husband a little bit, just about a month or two before the lockdown, and that's something I can see in the CrossFit community as well, is that people miss each other. We miss the chats and the morning jokes and all those things. So I think that is difficult. And then my third question is, okay, so eventually someday the gyms will be opening up again, and we will have races to go back to. We don't know when and how, but top 3 tips that you would say for a runner or any sports person to reach their goal, what would that be?
Okay, you mean a goal now for a short-term goal, or what do you mean if you say a goal?
Like
just for
a
now?
Goal, yeah, let's say we here, Comrades is on again for 2021, and I want to run sub 10 hours. What is the 3 things I need to do mentally to reach that goal?
Yeah, you know what? I've listened. I was once, let me put it this way, I was once had a talk, I think it was in Rustenburg, with a lot of Comrades runners there, just before the Comrades, and Bruce Fordyce was there as well. And that was interesting. I was very passionate about how you run the race and how you go out. And I remember Bruce said afterwards, Henning, the more conservative you are, the better, because it's such a tough race. But I think to give you 3 tips, actually, mental tips, I think the first thing is know yourself. I think it's very important. Go and look at your races that you've done well and the races that you didn't do well. There's a lot of clues for you in there. And you'll see, maybe you'll see the races you did exceptionally well, was you were more relaxed. You didn't put additional pressure on yourself. I believe a lot of times, and I did it myself, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get to, say, the first 10Ks, I need to do that, and to finish, okay, let's be optimistic, 7.5 hours to get a silver medal, or I need to. But I think a lot of times we need to just be less hard on ourselves. I think you'll run your best races if you go into a race and really you've got that times in your mind, but you stay in the moment. You just run the race and stay in the moment. So to be mentally right, I would say know yourself. I think it's very important. Know yourself when you run a good race, when your races are not. And then I think it's important to go in that Comrades or to go into a race that you've done that training. If you've done the training, the preparation, that's the best confidence you can have. So I would say, because then you've got peace of mind. But if you do run and you're worried, I haven't done enough miles, or I need to do that, you go in that race, you haven't got confidence. So I'd say prepare well, the best you can, and be smart when you prepare. You don't need to run 160 Ks a week, maybe, to run your best. You need to run 80 Ks a week, maybe, or whatever. But I would say you need to believe in your preparation. That's very important, because if you, and we talk about mental stuff, but if you believe in your preparation, I can promise you mentally you'll be calm, you'll be composed, and you'll be ready for that race. Because I think one of the things is if one runs, you overthink it, overanalyze. You know, if you take 10 hours or 11 hours to run Comrades, think about how many thoughts goes through your mind. And I think it's so important to prepare well. What's it now? Is that the second one? So I would say yes. The first one, like I said, you know, I think you need to enjoy it, stay in a moment, learn to be goal-orientated, but not obsessed in terms of I need to be there, I need to do that time. And you'll see, then you'll be more in the moment when you run. You'll be more in the zone. You'll run your best times, I can promise you. And then the second one we said was preparation. I think preparation is so important that you need to prepare it well. I think the third one, somewhere you're going to go through pain. There's no ways about it. When you go and run a Comrades, when you run a marathon, when you run a 10K, when you run every race, somewhere you need to have, let's call it a mental trigger, Chanelle. And a mental trigger, remember I had a session with the little stones. And I remember I had once a session with Comrades runners, and somewhere that little stone you've got somewhere in your pocket. It sounds a simple thing. It can be a mark on your hand or whatever. But that's going to be your trigger when you go into that bad patch, because you're going to have a lot of bad patches when you run those tough races. Nobody can, the best runners in the world, I can promise you, they go through stages that they feel, yes, I need to dig deep now. So somewhere, I've got a saying that I believe in, how solid you can be on tough times. Because you're going to go through that bad patches, and you've got somewhere that mental trigger that just gives you that patience, just the next K, just let me just finish this next K and just get my rhythm, keep your rhythm, don't overanalyze. So somewhere you need to have a mental trigger when it's going tough, that you can be solid. I think that's just 3 tips. You didn't warn me before, so you should have warned me before, so I could have thought about those 3. I'm just joking. I think it's great you're asking me that, but I think those are some of the things that's just in my mind. Stay in a moment when you run. Learn to be in a moment. Your preparation is key. And then the last one, which I just mentioned, I think it's very important that when you're going through tough times, you need a mental trigger, because you'll get it up again. And if you got those, I think it will help you a lot in your races.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I actually, on my way to the office, I thought of that question. So I didn't prepare you or myself. And then
It's
I
fine, huh?
actually, I have the stone that I picked up on my Omidam 50Ks. And I remember it was on Sarki's neck that I stopped and I picked up the stone. Plan was to take it with me on Comrades. Now we don't have Comrades this year, so Comrades 2021, it will definitely be with me. And then maybe you will be on the road with us as well, which will be great. So then lastly, my last question, yeah, is not running or sport related. That's something that for me at my practice. So like, you know, I'm a dietitian. I see a lot of people that want to lose weight. I see people that need to pick up weight. I see athletes. I see CrossFit athletes. I see runners. We all have different goals. But specific to my weight loss patients, I like to break up the goals for them. So instead of saying you have to lose 50 kgs, which is almost what I weigh, and then if they see that number, they freak out. Do you think it's a good idea to break it up into like smaller goals, or should we focus on the big goal?
That's a powerful question, because I believe you need to have that big goal. Everything starts with a vision. If you want to achieve something, Chanelle, get that vision going. See that picture, because our mind works in pictures. So put that picture on. I remember when I worked with the Springbok rugby team, 2007, I gave them a poster of themselves next to Nelson Mandela. It was a picture of Francois Pienaar with Nelson Mandela, but I took the picture out of Francois Pienaar and I took each person, each player, Brian Abena, a Victor Matfield, a Skalkberger, put their picture already, got that gold medal. And I gave it to them 3 weeks before the final. Underneath, I wrote, see it, believe it, achieve it. I believe in that. You need to have a dream. You need to have a goal, because then you're on your road to success. But now it's not a contradiction what I'm going to tell you. You need to have that picture and you need to know where you want to go. If you climb Mount Everest, people usually have got somewhere a picture in their pocket. And that's the truth I'm sharing with you, of the top of Mount Everest, because that's where I want to go. But the way to go there, and it's not a contradiction, like I said, what you need to do, and you're doing exactly 100% the way that you work with your patients. You need to drive the process. Because if you don't drive the process, those little goals, you're not going to be able to get to that big goal, I can promise you. So process goals, why is process goals important? Because if you just think about the outcome, that's outcome orientated. I need to lose 20 Ks, that's outcome. And I need to weigh, say, 80 Ks or whatever. That's outcome. But process goals is all the little things you're doing, all the little things every day. And why is process goals important? Because you've got control over that. You've got control over your attitude. You've got control over your work ethics. You've got control over your self-discipline. Those things, if you control those things in any sphere of life, you want to lose weight, if you want to run a good race or whatever, if you control those process goals, the score will take care of itself. And if you worry about the outcome, if you run a Comrades or you run a half marathon and you want to run sub 90 minutes, just an example, and you think, I need to run, and you put it out there, it's fine. But then while you're racing, you actually want to do it all the time. And what happens to you, you become tentative, you become worried, you become stressed. That's why when you work, just you mentioned about the book I wrote for parents, and parents need to learn to drive the process with their kids. Those little things that got control over their attitude, their talent is not that important. More if your ability to work hard. And those are the things, what you're exactly doing, what I'm doing with when I work with people. I drive the process. I encourage them to have attitude. I encourage them to put in that extra yard. And when they can achieve that, when they've got control over, you'll see they're on their way to success. So great stuff. What you're doing there, I really believe in process goals. And on a personal level, Chanelle, in my life, and it's very personal, I'm sharing now, I was obsessed with winning. I ran, and it's not bragging about it, I ran a world record for the 1500 meter when I was 16 years old. And I listened to an interview of Johan Fourie. You won't maybe know him because you're a little bit younger than us, but he was a great runner. He was running 1500 and mile, and he could have definitely achieved a medal Olympic Games. And he mentioned something about me as a junior. He said, Henning, and he used the words, it was incredible, my times. But I thought about it afterwards. Why I'm mentioning this? I was so obsessed with winning and being the best that it kept me back. And I'm very honest now with you that when I was start losing and things didn't go that well, I didn't cope that well with that. And I think now, being much older now, is understand if I was process driven and more long term and be fine if I fail. It's not going to be the end of the world. Everyone fails. Everyone gets stages where things are not going 100%. So it's a lot of lessons I learned in life that I can give back to people now, mistakes I did. But you actually touch on a very sensitive point for me. Be process driven. All great champions, Roger Federer, Nadal, whoever, I can promise you a Bruce Fordyce in terms of running. All of them is process driven in everything they do. Yes, thank you. That was actually great sharing this with you.
Yeah, I think I remember my first Comrades, my dad was my coach that time. Well, actually for my first 3 Comrades, my dad appointed himself as my coach. So, and I remember I was really scared for my first ultra, and it was also Umidam that year. And I've done a few marathons, I haven't done an ultra. And I remember my dad saying to me, Chanelle, one baby step at a time. And then after Umidam, I did my first ultra, I was okay. Then I thought, okay, now I've done a marathon, I've done an ultra, now it's Comrades. And I mean, Umidam is in March. Comrades is only in June. And I was so stressed out about Comrades. My dad kept telling me, Chanelle, there's still 10 or 12 races for you to do. Your next one is, let's say, law school. You have to do it under 5.5 hours. Then you focus on Comrades. And I think maybe my dad didn't actually realize that is what he has been doing, but he actually broke it up for me to get to my end goal, which is great. And also, I think on that topic, Comrades is one of the few races, and I'm sure you know this, that they count down the kilometer boards. So they will say the first one you see would say 89 k's to go. Okay, that's quite scary. And then you get to 42 to go, and you're actually half dead, and you still have a full marathon to go. And yeah, so I think that's one of the few things that a lot of novices don't know. And eventually, actually, in the end, it plays a big role because you can see the barometer. Every kilometer mark has got a barometer, and you can see how it goes down, and you can see, so you see the end goal and you see each and every kilometer. So I think also maybe the Comrades organizers didn't even know that, but they are actually on that day also breaking the goal down, but they are showing the end goal, which is great.
Yeah, just maybe to answer that as well, you know, our mind is so powerful, and we need to learn how to use our minds at the best. And remember, your mind wants to protect you. If you run a Comrades, I can promise you, your conscious part of the mind will tell you after 20 Ks, after 40 Ks, after 60 Ks, what the hell are you doing today? How can you do it? He wants to protect you. So you need to bypass that side of your mind, because that mind can easily tell you, no, rather just leave it or bail out here or whatever. So you need to feed your subconscious mind with small little goals. And when it's really tough times, that your mind is so strong and that you don't fight with your mind. I believe there's something when you run those races, you need to have a calm mind, a clear mind, and give yourself good feedback when you run, when you achieve something. So your mind feels, hey, this person are taking care of me. Remember, your mind wants to protect you. So you need to be that conversation, that little voice in your mind. You need to make peace with that little voice. And that little voice need to be your best friend when you run Comrades. And thanks for taking care of me. I'm going to be fine. I'm trying, I'll do this, and you'll be at your best.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Henning. It was really amazing to have you here with us today. So I'm going to put this on my YouTube, and everyone can please share it with everyone that's doing Comrades or any other type of sports and they feel that they need this. And please, just for everyone that did listen to our conversation today, if you like the interview, there's some other interviews on my channel as well. I'm also planning on putting some stuff on the channel in next week about my genetic testing that I'm offering at the practice. So please click on the subscribe button on YouTube to get more videos from me. And then, yeah, thank you so much, Henning. You must have a great day. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's just great to chat to you. And yes, I'll definitely follow you on YouTube and watch your videos as well. Thank you, Chanelle. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you.